Second by. Okay.
Just call it in. And we also did talk about movie foods over here next door.
Okay, let's move on to item number 1. Is there, before we proceed, I think we need, is there any discussion on this matter?
Well, I guess I read over the first ordinance that was drafted, and that's the one that went out on Facebook. So there was a lot of concerns, I guess, questions on it. But then the second draft came to us on Monday by the attorney, and they added in businesses to fine for $1,000. And as I was reading through it, I marked some things in there. But like on page 2, on the shelter in place order, it says individuals extremely urged to make such shelter available as soon as possible and to the maximum extent practicable, and to utilize social distancing requirements in their operation. Those are the vulnerable ones because they have nowhere to go. They're walking the streets. Maybe they have no access. They're exempt from this. So, and we got to find something for them as soon as we can. So I want to address that because, I got a call the other day from Ms. Schuler, Ruby, and she was really concerned because she runs the food. She feeds the homeless. She feeds the people, anyone that can want to come and eat. And she said she was concerned about this ordinance. And I've been doing it for 2 years now, feeding the people. So she said, I'm really concerned now that $250 is going to be fined if I leave this reservation or if I come back here. And I know that's a answer by the attorney. I mean, we all have answers to it. We all had answers Monday. But I think one thing that I want to say that our people in general never seen this ordinance. Some of them don't have radios. Some say they didn't know that. And so today I'm going to specifically touch on our homelessness, our people. You walk down the street, Monday night after our council meeting, I took a drive down the street here, Pine Ridge. I came into town, I brought my granddaughter in to get something to get at the Big Bats. We came through, seen all the homeless people still walking the streets, backpacks. So I was thinking, to myself, that's gonna happen. I went around the school and I just kind of went around and looked. Our people are still homeless. We got a shelter over here at the corner across from Yellowbird that was geared for the homeless people. And I was hearing today, yesterday, maybe our Pine Ridge Village district member could answer that, but I was hearing they closed it so they can't have homeless people there. So where do they go? I mean, how are we going to address that specific one for the homeless? Now, Ruby said she feeds them. And she said, I don't want to quit feeding them. I want to keep feeding them because they have nowhere to go and they're hungry. So is that a safety issue too? But Ruby said, I'm just really concerned about it. And I have to call you and talk to you about it. So we need to address that homelessness because they're the vulnerable ones. People are walking the streets. I don't care how you look at it. That's what's going on across the reservoir. I don't care how many legal questions and answers you have for me today. I want us to volunteering over there. She's one of the cooks. She's a Wakwami district cook. How many years she's been cooking for the elderly? But she volunteers her time over there. She goes and she sits over there. And she said, and they're concerned about it. So maybe our district president for Pine Ridge Village could answer that. I want that part answered. That's one area there that I marked. And the other one is, so I went through and I looked. We have on the one here on all the individuals resident to provide services or perform any work necessary to the operation and maintenance of essential infrastructure, including but not limited to public works, construction of housing, and then you gave examples, housing and airport operation, water, sewer, gas, electrical, roads and highways, solid waste collections, and removal, internet and telecommunication system, and you went on and on. But as I was reading it, I was getting calls from that construction. People are working on that big bats, working for big bats over here. They're saying, does this affect us? Got calls from the one in Wolf Creek School. Employees are calling saying, does this affect us? We can't go in and out of the reservation. Some of these people live off the reservation and they're coming to work on these construction sites. So they're concerned. So we need to make sure we maybe include in here about that. And I also want to say, I talked to business owners up until today, and I got their input on this ordinance, because I said, you weren't included with fines, but today you're included. You're gonna be fined $1,000. Okay, so we find out, we want clarification on that. Because you know what, as businesses are barely making it because of this coronavirus outbreak. I run a tire shop. For example, I'm gonna give you Mr. Ghost Bear. I talked with him. G-Force. I provide tire repair. I provide all these things here on reservation. I'm the only one right now today. I'm the one that has to do it. But right now today, my revenue isn't good. I didn't make good business last week. I can tell you that right now today. So look at the businesses, he said, essential and the non-essential. Do you need the grocery store? Yes, you do. You need the gas station? Yes, you do. You need tire repair? Yes, you do. But look at the fast food places around here. Is that essential or non-essential? I mean, these are things that this committee needs to look at with this ordinance. And I have no regret. I want this committee to know I have no regret about tabling this ordinance. I don't have no regret about it. We had to table it because we had questions about it. And that's the reason why. Even my family, you know, some of them call, I have to explain to them why I voted to table it. Because a lot of questions we had here. Now we're gonna fix it, and hopefully tomorrow when we meet, we're gonna come up with a good sound ordinance with input from the chief of police, input from the, maybe like you said, attorney general, and our people today. That's the next piece of it, is the fines. The $250 fine to the people and the $1,000 to the businesses. I'm not in support of that, because today our people live Ushika. And I use that as an example. We're all, you can go home at the end of the day from this chambers, and we all can, we have a roof over our head, and we have food on our table. We can take care of our grandkids and our family. But there's people out there across the reservation that don't have that today. I'll tell you that today. And they're the ones that are questioning about, why do you want to fine us $250? Us as a people have that concern. Some concerns that, well, we want to make sure that they stay on the reservation, that they don't leave. So we're gonna cite on this $250. You know, I don't agree with it one bit. I'm not gonna be in no support of it. I told my district members that once we bring in the law enforcement today, we hear their plan, then maybe that's where the answer is gonna be with our law enforcement. But I don't think we should be citing our people $250. The businesses are saying, clarify what you're gonna do with that $1,000. What are you gonna do? Because I gotta go get tires. I got to go to Rapid City Pool Supplies to go get tires. I got my oil I got to bring in from the outside. I mean, are you going to cite me for having to leave the reservation or coming back on? If I don't make it back by the curfew time at 8 p.m., because you guys set a curfew now, 8 o'clock p.m. in the evening to 6 a.m. in the morning. So I got to be back over here to get here back on the reservation. So I'm just letting you know, this is my feelings, my input. Sonia, you share it with your committee, because that's where I'm coming from. And I want them to know, yeah, it's okay. Everyone's worried about the safety and health of our people, but a lot of us are already doing it. We're already being home. We're taking care of our families. And if you're looking at the younger people, then that's where maybe your law enforcement needs to come in. And that's where they need to, if they're going to set up at the borders and entrances of the reservation, then that's what they need to do. But a lot of us older people, your age group, older people, we're already doing it. We're not going nowhere. We're staying here. And we're taking care of ourselves and our families. So you need to question those things, Sonia, for me, because I have these concerns as a business owner. So I'm just letting this committee know that, a lot of things we are going to post this ordinance once we pass it by council, and they're going to set up how they're going to do that. I want to hear from them, but I also want to make sure that we're covering our school constructions, and I read that part there. They can still work and do what they can do, but as it is, once we pass it, it needs to get out there to the people. It needs to go, like it says here, goes to all the 9 districts, goes to the district. They need to distribute it. It'll be here, but somebody needs to get on Key Radio. It needs to be on the website. It needs to get on Key, and this needs to be talked about every day to our people about how this we look at this ordinance. Because the task force is not going to get the questions. They're not going to be questioned. It's us as a council that are going to get questioned, not the task force. They're going to be calling us as a council representatives in our 9 districts. So that's what I'm saying. It's easy to put something together, but who answers to it? We do. So I'm going to say that today. Those are my input. I'm looking at the second draft, not the first draft. I'm looking at the second draft that we tabled on Monday. And that was a 12 tabling motion, 12-5. And so that was tabled to bring back here. So those are my input today, is the fines and making sure that the businesses are what I just touched on. I want to make sure we get those ones in there. Other than that, I think that everything else is okay for me. I see that as a something that's good, but we need to look at those. So that's my part.
Well, thank you, Son. You're correct, because we're the one that's going to answer this point. The constituents are the ones that are calling us. If we're going to be competent, we need to own it so we can defend it. Otherwise, somebody else does something, and then we have to justify it on explaining to our constituents. That's where the communications come in. So that's why we need it to come before this body, before it goes out there. Now it's out there, and now it's creating so much chaos. It's almost to the extent that I went to Gordon the other day, so are you gonna have a checkpoint at your reservation line, at your vascular line? Are you not gonna be allowed to, or you can't go? These are things that we're facing. So the question that Tanya asked is the
homeless shelter.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of things, but the homeless shelter, we closed it for cleaning. Was the first part.
Okay.
Okay, so when we closed it for cleaning, I started getting we had some more issues with it, some management issues. I'm pretty sure some council here heard it, and I would share it with you guys, but I don't think it's appropriate with everybody. So, but yeah, we shut it down, and as of now, it is closed. And we did ask, we gave them a week ahead of time to say, hey, make preparations with your families. Go back to your families, whatever you can do, make preparations. And for the most part, and I'm just gonna, for everything, nobody called for a shelter. Nobody called for the cat. They all made plans. They went back to their families, wherever they were staying. I know we even had someone all the way from Wombly over here. So they all made arrangements. They went back to wherever they were staying. And, I work for housing. I see a lot of these people and where they live. They were utilizing our shelter. A lot of them were utilizing it to come over drink, come over, pass out. But what it comes down to is management. You know, it came back down to management, and we didn't have the experience to run a shelter. We put it all on one person, which had no experience also. And so, you know, within the things that happened, it just came to the point of, hey, you know, as of now, we're closing it. The food portion, the soup kitchen part, we do want to try to reopen that. But right now we're looking at resource sites. You know, we're trying to find us a resource site for our district, because if it hits hard down here, you know, we don't know if the Kamal House is going to say, here's some food for you guys. You know, so we're going to do what we can as a district to try to make a resource site for our people. And I'm encouraging all the other districts to do so also. And I guess that's probably, I mean, if you have any more questions, I'd like to sit down with you and give you some more information on that.
So no homeless shelters now. So, and then no CAP offices want to open for anything, not even for wakes or funerals. And so we can't have them open either because of the safety and health of the people they're saying. So now these homeless people are going to be walking the streets, even though that's closed over there. So what do we do with that? How do we address that part of it? How are we going to say, okay, you need to go home. You need to go back to where you came from. What district are you from? You know, we need to start maybe addressing that, because we're still going to have them walking the streets. And they all, for some reason, come here. And they're here. And, you know, and Mr. Janice is right. So we need to do that. I think we need to figure out, but yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and another thing was we didn't have the resources. If someone starts getting sick in there,
Yeah.
you know, we don't have no medical equipment. We don't have no medical clothes that we're cleaning.
You are working on it.
Well,
We're not working on reopening the shelter at any time soon. We're working on probably the food
Is
part.
there a time frame? Are you planning to open that, or?
Not right now. Like I said, there's other issues that came up, and I'd love to share with you guys. Maybe it's not either one-on-one or maybe executive or something. I'm going to share with you guys exactly what happened at the shelter.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
And so, okay, and I just want to say one thing about the shelter-in-place ordinance. I know everybody's scared of it, and they're saying, you know, they're reading it, but they're not reading the detail in it. It's not saying stay home, don't come out of your house. You know, it's saying we're recommending, you know, try to limit your contact with other people. You know, limit your travel. We're not. I don't know how the fine part would work, but it needs to come to council and say, hey, we're at this point now. We had one in Rapid yesterday. Now it's official. Rapid City. You know, we were all happy. Okay, we're ahead of the game. You know, we had a task force in place. We were trying to get stuff done, but you know, as I see it now, it's in Rapid. I think we're falling behind. You know, we're falling behind, and you know, the shelter in place. It's pretty much a statement that needs to come from this council. You know, this body to say, hey, you guys start staying home. You know, limit your travel, except to go out. And it states in there, except to go out for medical supplies, food, essential. You know, and limit your travel to Rapid City. If you're going, you know, what they're saying is, you know, like it says, don't load up the whole family, you know, to maybe one or two people. Get up and go get your essential stuff you need. And everybody's running to Rapid. We have our own resources down here at our own store. You know, everybody is up for you. We have it. You're at our own store. So, you know, I don't know why everybody's running off, and then now we're, you know, doing, you know, everybody's getting their money, and it's in Rapid. Who knows how many people got infected? We're doing loans and stuff, so we're all running to Rapid to get our stuff. I know I did a loan, you know, I ran up there, but I'm taking the necessary precautions for what I can to keep my family safe.
Okay, well, thank you. I think this is why we're addressing this issue.
Okay.
Okay, Tina, Richard, and Tina, I want to give her an opportunity to have say something.
Thank you. For the most part, I support the health and welfare of our people. I support that we need to take measures with those recommendations and those best practices. But I had a lot of calls from our elders, and they were really upset because none of this was ever given to them, or ask their concerns, or ask any questions of them. And with that, what it did is it created a lot of frustration. And they said, when you try to force us to do something, and especially trying to force us to stay home, this is what causes anarchy. This is what causes a lot of chaos within the homes, because then it creates that panic. It creates that fear. And from that fear comes the panic. And I had elders calling me saying, can I still go get my loaf of bread? Can I still go to dialysis? Yes, yes, yes. All the questions were yes. That these were only, at this point, recommendations. And if you look at all other tribes, they put out recommendations, best practices. They didn't enforce a law upon the people without their input. And the other part of it is, look what the federal government done to us. They enforce laws on us to be in certain areas, to stay there. And how did that turn out for us? It didn't turn out good. So we need to think about that. And we should give recommendations, not a law that restricts our people. You know, Randy said we're lakota. He said that in the prayer. That we need to be mindful of where we come from and who we are as lakota people. And that includes our values and that respect. And yes, we want to do what is right. But the best thing that this body can do is make recommendations, put out those best practices, and the most important piece is education. Because right now, we're not equipped. We force these people to stay home. How are we going to be equipped to enforce that? How are we going to be equipped to order all 9 entrances, or 11 entrances to the reservation? How are we going to do that? Those are a lot of my questions. And in here, to me, if we put this out as recommendations, that we strongly encourage it, more of our people will accept it, and they'll be happy to abide by it. But if you try to force it on somebody, they're not going to listen to it. And that's what they told me already. So it's important that we do listen, because that's who we represent, is the people. And we need to listen to them.
Thank you, Richard.
Alright, Chair. We're supposed to come in here and take care of this stuff, and I sat and listened to one person for almost 18 minutes. I haven't got anywhere on this at all. First thing you brought up was shelters. How many times did I tell you guys to go down to Albuquerque, look at the shelter there, and how they run a shelter the right way? Derek might not want to talk about it, but we have people being raped in our shelter. That's why it's closed. Shouldn't even have been opened if we didn't have the proper people in there 24/7. What I hear today is a bunch of enabling. Enable everybody to do whatever they want to do instead of putting some concrete stuff down for our people to follow. Back in the 1800s, 1700s, back in the time when the chief made the decision, the warriors went out and made things happen, people did what they were told to do. Nowadays, people just do what the hell they want. They don't care about everybody. If they did, they wouldn't be traveling all over the place, going all over, then coming back. It's greedy. It's all about money and all this other crap. I'm trying to protect our people. I don't care about your money. If you're making money or not, you know, we're all going to go through tough times till this is done. Here we go. And you know, I talked about this stuff. How many of the people that are running around town are truly homeless? What we did is we enabled them, because guess what? They get to come to every one of our businesses. Hey, you got some change? You got some change? They do that until they got enough, and they go right up the hill and get a jug. Then they get drunker and shit all day long. And guess what? Now we got a place for them to stay. Have sex with one another in our building. Nobody's watching them. Fight each other in our building because nobody's watching them. Serious? We're a bunch of enablers. Tell them it's time to go home. A lot of them have places to go. And the ones that don't, we need to identify them. That's what we have social workers for. Identify them, see what we can do to help them. But they're not all homeless. They're coming here because we allow them to panhandle all day long. They're not panhandling to get food. You're panhandling to get alcohol. We have food, the shelter's still, they were still serving food. There's always somebody, if somebody comes to me, I'll buy them food. You can see their face like heartbreak when they hear that. I'll buy you something to eat. They really wanted the jug. They didn't want your food. Come on now, let's be realistic here. And we're gonna have to make tough decisions. I wanna, Dwayne, you're a strong voice in our communities all the time about back in the day and warriors and things like that. What would our warriors do today? Dwayne, I want to ask you that. Can you come tell us, what would our warriors do in something like this? Would they bow down to everybody? Would they be complacent and they let everybody travel everywhere they wanted to? We're doing sure.
Question?
It's on? Oh, okay. Let me put it in this context for all of you, without keeping. Honey, Akichi Takilena, le woke, Mosisuta, Oispa, Heha. Chlete Kilena, worship Jakilena, which okay? So you have a chlete on your left side, and then you have the Akichita over here. Two different definitions to describe what these warriors really did. Chlete Kilena, they took care of the whole encampments of the circle. Made sure they had food, water, everything. The Akichita, on the other hand, he did it different. He served the white man. So he never really served his people. Two different definitions. You talk, Chappy, okay? And today we're living like that. He made a real positive remark. The epidemics that are happening within this country was created by civilized man that don't have anything written in him, okay? And the problems that affect us all the time is we don't believe in ourselves. So you don't believe that way. Oh my God. These guys all got masks on. But you're my people. You guys are my people. Why are you having a mask on for me? I'm not a threat to you. He's mentioning something. If the homeless shelter that this man is supposed to oversee and they have all these problems in it, what are you really doing on operating it? Give somebody like me a chance to operate and I'll fix it. Simple. But it's the problem that you don't want to listen to. And you never really want to listen to your people until they push you into it, huh? They'll shoot you, tell you an epidemic, and right away you want to. Come on. No. Enough. Epidemics, Lena. Okay, let's put it this way. Now, this is a good question for you, Richard. What can't kishi manetio ehani makochik Lena kake heha. Woyuk jana walk hanki Lena uspechak. Okay? Ho eta hatako Lena zania yaonk te ke let's use ilala tena oate ni copy henat koketa. Let's use echag na kana ihaka ya ok. What does that mean? I shouldn't have to break it down for you guys because this is your body that represents us and speaks for us in passing legislation and all these things that are vested upon America's paper. Okay? So if you don't know, then I'll give it to you. When the Great Mystery created this word for our survival and purpose, they told the animals to bring us forward. Well, after a course of history and times and different millenniums, we're driven to an extinction that we don't even believe no more. So when he makes this remark of being testimonial with his anger, what is this body really doing? What are you really doing to serve your people? He's supposed to represent an akichita, badge, gun, nightstick, mace, flashlight. Some of you guys are law enforcement, ex-military. Well, I am a chlete. I am a real dog soldier, still doing the work for these people. But we're never given that chance to contest. And when Mr. Greenwald asked me to do that, the most important thing is, man, not panicking. Hey, honey, hate you, see, right or wrong. See, but you do that. Because why should you go now? Doc shit you or spend it, chalk you one chalk and let you say I like shit. See? Go look at all the jails in America. Go look at Rapid City and see what's happening. They're on a modified lockdown. You know why? I'm just gonna put it out there for all of you to pay attention to. Whether you get it or not, I don't care. The white man has a way of controlling population, right? So you go back into 911, Waco, Texas, even here, Wounded Knee 73, they put a halt on everything. Because everything that is detrimental to your so-called well-being, you never lived under it in the first place. Tell me I'm lying. See? Here, you want money? Here, give it to you. It's a $20 bill. Take it. Do whatever you want with it to me. This is what you're all doing. He said it? Well, here, I'll throw you a $20 bill. Go ahead. Because that's what you're blinding these people with. Now, Chansayo Hakilena, wash Akisuta Oispa, did you show me where it's at? And then you want to put up roadblocks. For what? The problem's out there amongst the white race. They're the ones creating this problem. But you're not making resolutions or understanding to combat that problem. Simple. You know how you stop this prevention of coronavirus? Remember, coronavirus started in Mexico. They made an alcohol beverage, right? They're advertising that all over TV. Come on, you guys. There was Corona, and what was the other one called? Simpatico, right? Hey, come on. But you don't see Anheuser and Budweiser and all the rest of them making man commercials. See? There's a problem there. When everything is created by civilized and modern man, you believe it, you go for it. Look at it, man. I live amongst you, and I hear all of you. But if you want to follow the white man's path, go ahead. Keep spending this money, not amongst your people. Spend it for yourself because that's what you're doing. You know that. That's why you wear a badge and gun for the wrong purpose. You didn't ask me to wear that. I don't want your protection because you're faulty all the time. So if I'm going to believe in my counsel, like what Mr. Greenwald did, hey, he wants to hear it from the people. A real chlete puts his people in front of him. That's wash. Wash que chanteo gonna le wo que suta oluspek te hanta lena echa toke wichanu na hena tokata echa na ko. Simple. You don't have to have a badge and gun to do that. Amongst your people, that's where the problem is. So now you're forced to make a decision, right? You're forced to really depend on people, the warriors. Are you really ready to feed your people? I don't think so. So here, take my point. I'm here for that purpose of seeing what's out there. And they're going to keep doing this until you say no to it. Jeez. If you're going to say no to your people, what does that tell you? You're going to become the problem rather than the solution. Now I'm going to close with this. Mr. Greenwald, I appreciate, man, that understanding to ask me that. The Chlete has the most powerful way of living things. Hey, honey, there was a man that died. He passed away. He's the reddest. We'll check him when you got it. Okay? We'll check you. They made an illustration of a book. Okay? And my Uncle Johnny around him, his verses were in there too. Uncle Johnny Ishabogala. Now, honey, Uncle Johnny was part of the armed forces. Okay? Me and Sonia's uncle. So Uncle Johnny reddish we try to Glenda let's say yeah. Daku ya chimpik the hunter. Toke wate we try you call. Wo you shankilet kokate egna karma eto daku le hotsuka tima yanking the gear wa blaze wala cocktail. Okay? Wa blaze kile echa wa cha Tony Khletel na ektu the hechano kishito wala cocktail. Washita here because the Washita in the Chlete is a racist individual passing judgment and decisions upon you. Now, I wish I had a badge and gun like you guys because I will be pointing my guns at them, telling us, leave us alone. We followed your way of life too long and it don't work. The same way this corona epidemic looks polluting you guys. Got you guys all to fight each other and argue. No good, I get to sit back and just let you do it yourself. And then what really is survival amongst my people, I'll take them and keep moving. You did it. Own up to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Akina,
So to get back to this ordinance, I do think that, what Ms. Weston was talking about, the getting that clarified with the construction piece. And then also I seen on the fine piece on section 9-C, it says in lieu of a payment of the fine, individuals may perform community service hours. So I think that's something to stress in this order. And I do agree, like, if we lived in this world where we were culturally traditional, and they did, but most of you guys live out in the country. Most of you guys don't live here in town where I've been seeing traffic like no other period. So I wish people would follow recommendations and stay home. I sure wish that we didn't have to do these kind of ordinances. And I commend the task force for their work for making the last couple of weeks. You know, you guys are bringing forth some recommendations that we have to consider. So I think it's important that we consider the input. And then also, so I am the one that had put out the ordinance last Friday because it was given to us at a special council meeting. And for me, it's important that we get the input from our people. So I feel like this brought us to discussion. Otherwise, you guys would have seen it in a committee or at a special, and then the people wouldn't even have heard about it. So I don't feel any way about putting this out there on social media. We're supposed to be getting the input from our people.
Yep.
And I'll tell you right now, I did a survey last night just because I'm all about trying to look at this in percent data wise. And right now on my survey, there are over 100 people have filled it out, and only four are not concerned at all. The rest of them are in this tier of mostly concerned, somewhat concerned. So, and that's what I use as a legislator to get the input from the people, because, and then plus I'm getting text messages, calls, I hear it like all you guys, and that's my job is to hear it. So, and we should be able to answer their questions. And as soon as if they ask me questions, they felt better about it. That's what we do when we pass laws. So I have no problem in doing that in my role. So I feel like if we need to lower the fines, I think that's definitely I wanted to hear from the task force on if there was any options that we can consider, especially with the agency ambassador, chief of police, because that's what it's gonna fall on. That was the first thing, and then the second thing, Ms. West was bringing up the homeless shelter, and it says in here that there's gotta be a plan. What's the plan? Because I think that's important to get out there. And that's all I have.
okay, also I want to hear from each council member on their feelings because the task force needs to be aware of conversation. They should have read the whole. I read the whole thing.
So are you keeping track of the questions you have presented? We're not going all over the place?
We're not going all over the place. We're going to have the elected officials comment on each, and they can respond to it. I hope they take notes on the questions that people are asking. I want to hear from the rest of the council members. Randy?
Yep, definitely. In my comments on today's discussion, for now that we're having and the input that we're having from the public is it's pretty good because we're moving forward and creating a dialogue to what the language needs to be adjusted to. So people will have a better understanding of what direction we're going, because that's what we need to hear from the people. So us as legislators, we can sit down and adjust the language and move it forward. And like I'm going back to Mr. Daniel said, recommendations. That's how I look at it. We need to place it as a recommendation, not to enforce it. To the point where people will fall apart, because it's almost like similar to martial law. If we do implement martial law, you know that's going to happen. is gonna cause chaos amongst the people. People will fight amongst each other, it'll get worse and worse, and we can't have that happen on the reservation. So that means that we have to really look at the language that's in here, and one of the things that I don't like is the fine that's in here. I think we need to remove that whole section of fines, because people don't have the money. Like, going back to Sonia's, the dialogue that she started, instead of having a discussion, they're what we call Ushika people. Some don't have no jobs. Some can afford this or that. So if they were to be arrested in these circumstances right here, they won't have the money to pay this off, and they'll be incarcerated for the time period. And the coronavirus, will it be in the jail system? It already is across the United States. So that means this coronavirus, when you look at it, it's circling us. It didn't come in yet. We didn't hear nothing yet. So for now, let's adjust this language right here to where it's more appropriate. And then when you look at the educational institutes, I was reading this educational institute, Governor Noon, I think that was yesterday, she went on ahead on a press conference that she recommended that all schools be shut down until May. Assessments, tests, to be waived by the state of South Dakota. So that means, I think we need to use that and shut down all schools until May, because tests and assessments are waived. So that means schools don't need to buy. So that means they could have the time to clean their schools up and then move forward. So I mean, my recommendation is just to adjust this educational system and this fine, to remove this fine. That's how I look at it. That's my input. Thank you, Judge.
Lydia.
Well, good morning. You know, I read the shelter in place ordinance, and I agree with that, and I will support it. However, I think it's too early, because every state, they have a peak time on this virus that's coming around. And in South Dakota, we're scheduled for May, which means like that's going to be the hardest hit is in May. That's what they're predicting. I don't know how true it's going to be. None of us know. So I think with these laws that we're creating, we should go along with the timeline, because you do this, and how long is it going to be in place? You know, and then so the time frame is really important on that. And then to look at that peak time and to be able to, you know, quarantine everybody then during that peak time when it's all out there. I have a lot of issues with the like with the fine and supplies coming in, supplies going out. We don't even have enough supplies for our households out there. We need to work on how we're gonna get those supplies out there. Delivering them. Medical, you know, there's a lot of medical needs. And in none of this, the first one or this one has no bearing against tourism and tourists. And you know, they're out there now. And they're gonna be coming in. So how do we ban them off the reservation? I live in Bennett County. Martin's right there. Martin ain't shutting down nothing. Martin's moving on like there's no concern in that town, in that community. The commissioners had a meeting, and they don't seem like they're gonna you know, close down anything. They're not willing to, or they're not gonna shut down their businesses or anything. Well, we need the medical supplies. We need medical personnel. You know, like we were saying earlier, the ventilators. The medical issue should be our priority, and the supplies that are gonna be needed in May should just come. And we're treating it like it's already here, which is good. But the curfew, I agree with the curfew. Maybe that would curb a lot of stuff, but it is gonna get out of hand, and we're not ready. In terms of economic, it's gonna hit economically. It's gonna hit everybody. But I hope that our stores on the reservation are sufficiently supplied to meet the demands of the people. I don't think we are. So if this is in place right now, that's gonna stop a lot of those trucks bringing in those supplies that's gonna be needed. We're gonna need a lot of medical stuff coming in. And what about our patients being flown out? Okay, so they're flown out and nothing in here says, do they come back or they not come back? Do we just leave them out there and ban this shelter in place so that they never come back? Or how long is this going to be in effect? Are the needs of the people besides what we're afraid of? And I don't want to promote panic, but I also don't want to promote fear and act like it's out of control and that we need these plans in place. So I do support this, but I think it's too early. And I think that the language should be like the funding. Okay, so that funding's coming out and they voted on it. It's approved. So how much of that are we going to go after? Because every household should get 5,000 during this shutdown. I think every household should get 2,000, like Trump is trying to put out there. But we're going to have to meet those needs as leaders, meet those needs for the people before we do this. So that's my only concern here is coming forward and reading and like and this power or this disagreement. You know, we need to find a plan and we need to promote what's going to be the best interest for the people and not, not our own fear or not our own panicking. So I came, just to listen in and put it out there. I know people don't know that it was read, but what is it actually going to do? And are the people going to comply with that, with this shutdown, with what they're saying on this whole, both the businesses and the residents, the travel, whatever, and how much of our people that have appointments right here in Gordon, Shadron, Rapid, are they going to be able to keep and maintain those appointments? I mean, some of them have serious medical issues like cancer. And I thought going to take over and they're going to do roadblocks and stop traffic coming in, traffic going out, How do we identify those patients that need the medical help off the reservation? And how do we identify those patients coming back in when they're flown out by IHS? There's a lot of unanswered issues here too. But that's what I just want to bring up.
Okay, thank you. I want to hear from each councilman before we get into it. Then we can get our people in here to make their presentations. Glenn.
Thank you, Judge. I'm all about preparedness, guys. I don't know about the peak deal because I think because people waited till it peaked is why they're in the trouble that they're in. I see no problem with this shelter at all, and people are still going to be able to go and take care of business. We got a vice president to take care of the eye stuff. There's the cancer patients. They need to learn from others. I mean, I sit and I listen, and that's when I learn. When I stand there and talk and run my mouth, I'm not learning. I'm preaching. So we need to prepare, and by preparing, we reduce infections, and that's a big plus. We should have did this last Monday, maybe. Law and order, here we are today. Let's learn from others. The businesses, they make conscious decisions, and we need those services. We got to have service tires on this side of the reservation. We need to take care of our business. We need to give the people an outline and the attitude that this won't affect them. But at the same time, they go out and they become carriers and they take it home to Uchi. They take it home to Gaza. We need more education and we need something in place that has, hey, wake up, these are guidelines, these are barriers. I don't like the fines at all. And I agree with there's no blame bad about the education. We get all our young people back into the schools. That's a disaster. Just think of how our common colds and our flu. Our regular flu season last year nationwide, 30,200 people died from a flu season, the regular flu season. I'm not about panic. I'm about preparedness, being informed, and making good decisions. Well, thank you, Chair. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I think that, we have to look at this as a temporary thing, you know, because it's going to affect people, we don't know how long, 2 weeks, 30 days, we're talking months now in the national news, and I don't wanna wait for that to help us spread it within the reservation, you know, we have people coming in and out, we have no control of that. When I read this ordinance, you know, on page 4, it has definition of exemptions. And I think that's what we're not reading.
Yeah.
It exempts all of these healthcare needs that people need. If they have to go to the hospital, they're not gonna get fined, they're not gonna, if they gotta go to the store, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of exemptions, you gotta read that. But I think, to me, it's too long for the public to just sit and read this whole ordinance. It needs to be put in a way where it's simplified, so we can have it continually read on the radio, and you know, they're not gonna get fined $250 on that last one, because I was getting calls on that temporary when we put out, and this wasn't even passed yet, so people didn't understand that, because I don't think there's too much communication going on myself, I don't hear it. But on the fines, I think there should be a warning. You're out, you're doing this, and what are you doing? Maybe public safety is doing that, I don't know. But we need to probably hear from them, because I did hear that some of the officers were warning people, you know, just stay home or whatever, you know, kind of do that route. But I think we got to look at it as a temporary thing. It's not like it's going to go on forever. And look at in our law and order code, all the hundreds of fines they have it for everybody. You know, if you don't want to get fined, follow the process and try to not break the law, or if we're going to pass it as a law. But myself, you know, maybe we should just put some recommendations, some strong recommendations out there to tell the people and encourage them to do things. I was kind of reading that too, and the fines are really excessive right away. So I thought about maybe warnings, you know, putting those out there, and also about maybe we need pass or something, I don't know. I need to get out here, going off the reservation, come back, you know, for stuff, but I don't know if we're getting that far. But to me, I think that we have to really realize it's temporary. And then on the homeless shelters, this body needs to make a decision, because regardless of what they're doing, they need a place to go during this time too. You can't just leave them on the street. Already it's going to snow again. And it's scary, you know, maybe Dwayne will man that place if they opened it up. But somebody needs to be there and protect the homeless people that are in there also, because they're vulnerable to other people. So that, you know, that's some of the things. I might have some more concerns, but those are some ones that stick out for me, and we have to look at that exemption part, because there's a long place here. Definition of exemptions, and it's several pages long. It exempts people, you know, and I think, and the business part of it, maybe we just need to ask the businesses, you have a plan in place, how are you going to, you know, protect your people, your employees, and the public coming in and out. Maybe they got plans, maybe they're already doing that. So we just gotta work with them and not put a big scare out there on these businesses that are coming in and out, because we do need the services here. We need to spend here too, rather than running off everywhere else. Good morning. I'm just sitting here listening to everyone talking at their postage of fines. I think fines is a big issue here because there are a lot of elderly out there. It's not that. They're on fixed incomes and all they get to go to the town is first of the month. But at that, they have to hire someone to go. And another one is, the curfew. What are the penalties if you get caught on a curfew hour? Because there is some dialysis people that leave at 4:30, 5 in the morning to get into their dialysis. Is there a penalty against them? And then my other one is there a way you can, put whatever we approve in Lakota too? Because there's a lot of people out there that were asking if they can put it in Lakota too. So they can understand it, the education part, where I told them.
Okay, thank you. But you know, I was gonna bring up what you brought up earlier was, you know, we're gonna pass this, ordinance and there'll be some changes. But we need to simplify so that our people can understand it out there. And, close it up. And what's, what all is essential and not essential, or even those types of things, need to be simplified and put out there. But the other things, fines, I don't agree with, and I think that we need to probably modify that to something simpler. And one of the things that was in here was that, you get $250 fine for if you break the 6-foot requirement, but you're within 5 foot. Are you gonna be fined $250 to go that far? It's a requirement. And so those areas need to be fined, but I think, like Jackie said, or it could be a warning of some sort to individual from whether it's vacation or how it's going to be dealt with by public safety. So there's some issues some areas that need to be defined yet. And then you go to guideline number 12. I think it's for the last. Below the fines area, then you deal with social gatherings and so forth. And we already dealt with the resolution dealing with religious gatherings, spreads, sundances, and so forth. But right now, you need to be with probably 15 or more of us into this, but and the temperatures go pretty high. It feels pretty but I think that's all I think that should be included. Number 12 or last. So that's just some of my suggestions. Other than that, I think we need to go on it. Soon.
Thank you. The shelter in place ordinance could be a good thing. It could, and I believe that it is necessary to have something. But we need somebody to get this information out to people. Everything that we already discussed here is in here. Basically, you can still go to work, you can still go after groceries, you can still go to your medical appointments, whether they're in Rapid, Gordon, Pine, Iowa, Martin. It's all here, and it's all pretty much covered. Most of, I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but all of the schools are closed except for Pine Ridge School, including Bennett County. Bennett County is closed as well. So, for the rest of the year. The only school that hasn't actually made an announcement is Pine Ridge School here in Pine Ridge. Many of the schools are still keeping employees working. And The main issue that I have with the shelter in place is that when you're people and tell them that they have to be in their home all the time, the children who are abused, the child abuse rate goes up, domestic violence, elderly abuse, it goes up. Because people think everybody starts to wear on each other's nerves. But there's nothing in here that says that you can't take your kids for a walk, or you can't, take them out to play, just so everybody's not getting on each other's nerves. And the one thing that I would like to see in here is that the police officers or whoever do safety checks on known domestic violence offenders and their families, and that also do safety checks on known child abuse offenders and their families, and that they also do safety checks on all the foster children who are in the CPS system, because they're going to have a hard time. I mean, the parents are going to be there. And I know that, nobody ever thinks that they're going to abuse their children, or that we all want to believe that a foster child is put in a safe home. But that's not always the case, honestly. So we need to make sure that if this is passed,
They're not making any more popcorn.
for them as well. And I was looking at the shelter in place ordinances for Cheyenne River, Standing Rock, and Rosebud, and all of them, they have fines, but they start with the warning, and the next time that someone is caught out, then they give them a ticket for $50, and it's graduated, it goes up and up. But the main thing is that we keep our people safe, especially our grandmas and grandpas and our children. And having them confined with people, I don't want to say their parents, because maybe a parent or uncle or whatever, but having them confined, it creates more tension. And I just want to make sure that if this is passed, that those safety issues are put in here somewhere. And then, if this is passed, we also need to have some education put out to Kiwi, to the newspapers, and I post everything. But we need to make sure that this gets out there, and that it is explained that people are allowed to go to work, are allowed to go after groceries or cleaning supplies or whatever. That they are allowed to and encouraged to keep their medical appointments, especially dialysis, because I think I got like 80 people messaging me about dialysis and cancer. Yeah, and cancer. I know that some people who have cancer, they're requiring them to stay at the hospital.
But there's some that have
They're
appointments
continuing
in
radiology. Yeah,
some that
but
don't.
that should all be, that needs to be an educational process that's put out there. We need to get this information out there if we're going to pass it. And, I don't know, but, we expect them to do a lot. We're requiring them to do their regular duties, and then asking them for additional enforcement of this ordinance, And I know that there was some discussion about it last night, but a police officer knows what they're getting into whenever they become a police officer. And we do expect a lot from them, but we need to make sure that they understand. And as an employee of the tribe, I believe that if if a police officer is sick, they should be allowed to take sick leave. And that was part of the discussion that I had last night with they weren't allowed to. But that would be a separate discussion with all. But I think another thing that's not in here that we should have in here is for the districts. You know, most of the districts have plans. They have emergency plans, and we need to authorize them or allow them to put those plans into place if necessary. Our district has a plan for a necessary lockdown for the villages if it's warranted. And so I don't know if we need to call it under Article 6 or whatever, but they're the local governments, so we need to authorize them to have that power. We need to encourage that there not be unnecessary travel, but we need to educate people that they are still allowed to go to work. They are still allowed to go after essentials such as groceries, food, supplies, medication, and they are encouraged to keep their medical equipment. And I know I repeated that, but that's one of the most important things that we need to let people know. So we're not trying to make them prisoners in their own homes. This is a safety precaution, and we need to educate people on what exactly it is. But I think that we really need to go over this paragraph by paragraph because some of it is a bit much.
I have a couple of things. The first being the curfew. The police are going to do the enforcement for the curfew. You know your own district. It's not going to happen. One thing I'd like to ask is the ordinance that we're looking at here. It came from California, right? Passport? Ordinance?
Yeah,
It's
from the
ordinance.
Bay Area,
Okay.
we adapted it for the Bay Area.
Okay, so that's a hot city, you know. I think a lot of these things, what we're questioning here, don't really pertain. We need to take a good look at our own ordinance and how that fit into our own reservation needs. The first one, I think everybody noticed was the fines. I was very much against the fines when we started doing the public safety, $250, this, $250, $500, the fines were humongous. And at these big meetings, I would talk to our people, and that's way too much. We don't have money to give out of jail. And now the new people think they found our $250 fine is gone. So that, I remember that being discussed when you guys first done that. In here. Our people will have to worry about paying these fines rather than buying food for their family. And when they're on fixed income, they take, well, I think touched on yesterday, like a third of their income. That's only one, but it's all money to me. They're taking money from us. And that's, to me, that's martial law. I really don't appreciate having our society bowing down to martial law. We should get something in place, like a policy that we have to follow. Our people will follow the policy because they're not going to follow this. People in my district, I know them. I grew up with a lot of issues in here that they're not going to follow. So that's good. My input.
Yeah, we got a comment.
Well, don't let me stop.
All they want.
Okay. You know, maybe some looking at patients, just deal with patients too. But who are we? Not our people. There's no listen. And so, what is the time? Our people aren't dumb. You know what's going on. You just, you go out of their way to really take care of our elders. But the rest of us, I don't think I'm an elder, but my boy told me this morning, he said, you dodged the bullet. Only the 77-year-old was that. And should be declared. The publicist was wrong. Amen.
Oh,
Oh, say on this. The fines, little steep, but, you know, all rules are fine.
Yep.
So I feel about that. Now, you know, I'm for it. I'm for locking down the red. Johnny's down with the plan. Close the borders. Not really for it. Fines. Who comes in, who goes out. Yeah, we do that. I wanted to be here, but I'm kind of scared to be here right now. I see people with their masks on, and people coughing. Yeah, so let's break this up. Thank you.
now we heard from everybody providing their opinions on this. There's several changes that would be acceptable. I think they need to find and enforcement. Any of the
Could we hear from the chief? I'd like to hear from the chief of police as to how we're gonna enforce, what kind of a plan does he have so that, we're gonna enforce that, this here? Because, we didn't hear from him, as well as the attorney general. But first of all, I'm gonna say something too, because, if we're gonna be listening to all these, things that are being thrown at us from the, CDC, everyone's talking about it, we think not more than 10 people in a room. Not more than 10.
as soon as we pass this, we're going to split it 5 feet apart.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, you know, so what do we, you know, they're telling us that. But
Okay, I'm going to try to keep the chief respond to the ordinance. How do you plan to enforce this? Fine. Or you want to make sure that the 5 feet apart after the ordinance goes through? You have checkpoints.
You know, I don't know what ordinance some people are reading here, but there's nothing in this ordinance that shuts the reservation down. The only thing that this ordinance does is encourages people to kind of stay in their homes and their families and stuff. It doesn't restrict them from going out and getting groceries. It doesn't restrict them from doing things that they have to do to keep their families going. And you know, we're not the coronavirus police. I mean, we're here to work with the families to protect them. And in the event that, you know, just to work with the families and this whole thing of self-containment, of staying in your home and stuff, it doesn't say you can't go outside with your children or anything like that. It's just saying there's some distancing that you should try to practice to keep from getting other people sick and stuff. We will enforce this to the best of our ability. It's going to be kind of an officer discretion deal. The fine issue, you know, I mean, if that's the whole hang up of the fine you should either reduce it or take it out. But all this is to slow things down on this reservation in terms of keeping people in place in their homes, in their communities and stuff, to limit the spread of this virus. That's how as chief of police, that's how I interpret this. This isn't going to be a strict thing where I go out and say, well, go down and arrest the council because they're not sitting, 10 feet apart. It's simply a very subjective piece of legislation, but it encourages us to work with our communities and get out and to talk to those people as our officers are out there, to encourage people to, stay in your homes if possible, unless you need to go out and do the business that you need to do on behalf of your family. And as far as the curfew, you all passed the curfew. You passed the curfew that night, but no ban on any travel. So, it's just kind of tough to enforce that provision of that curfew. So, if you pass this, we'll work the best we can to work with our communities to try to work with those families. And it's not up to us as police. I mean, where are all you out there, your CHRs, your healthcare workers, those people that need to be on the front lines of working with these families and getting into them homes and assisting them. We're going to continue to enforce the laws that are here. If somebody breaks the law in terms of domestic abuse, in terms of intoxication, other things, we're going to need to do our job rather than 10. And many of our homes have 20 people living in them or more. So as you discuss this, if you're hung up on the fines, then change it. But all this is really kind of an education process and the community house order thing. And I think I can honestly say I think that the majority of our people have already imposed it. As I'm on the roads and stuff, you see the traffic on our highways has really gone down. I think people are taking the warning and saying, look, I'm not going to be out and about unnecessary or expose my children or my grandpa or my auntie or my uncle to this virus. Our people are smart. We've survived all this time not because we're not intelligent. And I'm just saying we'll work with communities, and not because we're not intelligent. And I'm just saying we'll work with communities and stuff. We're not out to punish people for this, but we're going to encourage them to try to stay in place as much as they can. But I talked with the group. I said, we need, if you put this emergency management plan and you're in place along with this, and let your incident command place system go into place, we'll have an effort to work with. And if we get in to see a family that needs food, that needs water, that say for instance, the virus does come, and we have to start quarantining the house or something. How do we, our protocols of working with an ambulance, working with other entities, with IHS and stuff, those need to kick in place. So there's nothing in here that's going to shut the borders of this in place, and we're encouraging families to abide by the things that are in this ordinance. So, we'll enforce what we can on it, but again, we're going to be working with the families more than, we're not out to put people in jail or to fine them $10,000 or anything like that. We're there to try to protect them, despite what some people think in here. We're in there to try to keep them as safe as we can. And we'll continue to work with all the entities that put this together, and try to keep people safe. Richard, you have a question?
I think you really go through a riff like you all got to do with that question and going along. At some point, what I want to do, Chair, is go line by line. And then as you guys have questions for each line, ask your questions. Right now, we're just drifting all over the place and it's taking forever. And the other thing I wanted to say is, you know, y'all have to talk about your districts. Now, if Rich Greenwald came out to Porcupine and I was a meth dealer or I brought bad stuff to your district, are you gonna just allow Rich Greenwald to continue to be your district? Are you gonna kick my ass out, tell me to get? You have the opportunity in your districts to do that, but right now, what you see in here is these people telling Pine Ridge what to do all the time. I'm not okay with that. You want a shelter, put a shelter in your district. Or put a shelter in the middle of the reservation. When you put a shelter in my district, all it does is it allows for panhandling. You know, people drunks come up touching you. You know, one day I had a drunk individual at Sioux Nation grabbing my food, trying to help me come against me. I said, no, you're scaring my children and I could put my own groceries on there. He started grabbing, I said, leave my goddamn food alone. Oh, are you somewhere? I said, how many times did you pee today? 10, 15, 20 times? Because you've been outside all day. How many times did you wash your hands? Geez, that's what I'm talking about. That's what you guys, when you keep on telling Pine Ridge, you need to do this, do that. This is our district. It doesn't belong to you. If we come up there, when we talked about the shelter up there, and I was against it, right? Because I went to Albuquerque and I did my own study, my own information on what shelters and food pantry things do. You have to run them right, and it costs Albuquerque $2 million a year to run that. You don't have $2 million a year. So Derek, when I told you about all the things that would happen, Derek, did they all happen and then some? Exactly what I warned about happened. And please, if you want that to be a shelter, come over here, take a truck, take that trailer out in the middle of nowhere, put it out there, see how many of the people go out there. They won't go out there. They're staying, yeah, exactly. They're staying here because what happens, they get a panhandle because nobody's charging them for panhandling or going and bothering the customers at Sioux Nation or wherever they're at. So they go and all day long, and then they get enough for a jug. Then they go to the hill where everybody knows that the bootlegger is not busted yet. Needs to be busted. They go to the bootlegger and they get their jug, and then they get hammered. Now we're feeding them, and then we give them a place to stay. Shit, we just made the best of both worlds for them. They get to make their little panhandle money, so they get their jug, get their food, and they drink, pass out, or else assault one another in our shelter. That's why you have to do things. That's why you have to do things. Because our big stores here, all the things are, everybody wants to come here. So what happens when everybody wants to come here? All you guys from other districts want to try to boss Pine Ridge around a lot. Oh, what if we say, no, you know what? We want all the stores that you got from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening. We're going to close everything down in Pine Ridge. Is that our choice as Pine Ridge Village? Or are you guys going to all come and tell Pine Ridge Village what to do again? That's our decision as a village. That's your decision there. When we come up with plans, we need to follow them, but that's for my 2 cents of where we're coming from. I'm trying to protect the people of Pine Ridge Village. If I come to your districts with things like that, you ain't gonna allow Rich Greenwald to come and bring hazardous stuff to your districts. You can tell me to get the hell out of there. So if we come up with things, you guys need to respect that too as well. But I like a lot of stuff in here, but we need to start going through it now. Let's go one at a time. Let's get this done.
That's the reason why I want to, each one of you to make your comments. Then they'll move on to go through all that.
Yeah.
Philip, you got a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say is that, the bigger cities, that have more, they're affected by this more, they have voluntary, voluntary compliance from individuals. But there's some enforcement, civil fines by the officer just out of hand. And so it doesn't really say what the civil fines will be, but Bob, I don't know what that's, I mean.
Our Attorney General on that question.
So the question is, if they do something beyond this, I mean, you always have disorderly conduct. You have other things if they're in violation of the law, disobedience to lawful order of the court, other things that we can impose on a person if they get out of hand or break the law. We can do that. The fines in here,
I think it's too high.
I mean, if that's where you hung up, then fix it. Go through and fix it. You know, but one of the things I wanted to let the council know, just go, you know, my suggestion, go line by line, change it the way you think, then we'll move on from there. But I just want to also advise you that we are putting solar panel signs on each entrance of the reservation now. We're unloading them now. We're just putting travel advisory in effect, just to remind people as they go in and out that, hey, be aware. Be aware. It's not a roadblock. It's nothing like that. It's just raising the consciousness of people as they're going in and out of the reservation to just be advised that the illness is out there, you know, and we're trying to protect our families.
Sonia, you got a comment?
Yeah, I just want, I know I heard the chief say that Monday that comes up. So I guess that was my question. I'm glad that you brought it up, that you are gonna set those up on the entrances of the reservation,
They're putting them
all
out right now.
entrances? Okay, so they're being done, so our people will read them as they're coming and going. Because we have work here every day and they don't live on the reservation. They live off the reservation. We got a lot of employees that are doing that today. And so, you know, we gotta, you know, be mindful of that. And second of all, when I brought up the homeless question, didn't have nothing to do with Pine Ridge Village. I wanna make that clear today. Because in this recommendations from the OST task force, you guys talked about it. You brought it to our attention about homelessness. So that's the reason why I brought it up. Nothing to do with Pine Ridge Village. Keep in mind that. Keep in mind that the other thing I want to say is that it opens up our eyes as all of the 9 districts to look at that homelessness issue, not just looking at Pine Ridge Village. You know, that just because they opened one up over there, I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at all of us across the reservation. We all represent the not only our nation, we all represent the not only our districts, but the Oglala tribe as a whole. So I want to keep that in mind, and we can go way back, you know, when we're listed as an agency of right here, Pine Ridge Agency. That's where all the people came. That was the agency. Keep that in mind. So, you know, I just want to say that today, don't get on me about bringing up homelessness when the OSU task force brought it to us. That's what we have to fix.
We're here to address the issue, resolve the issue, so we'll proceed
Yeah.
on.
So that was great.
Any questions here in general, and then, you know, we can spend all day talking about this, but let's get down to it. Go ahead.
You guys have difficult decisions to make, and I'm not going to substitute my judgment for yours. You know, it's probably the last difficult decisions you'll have to make on this epidemic. It's going to get worse in the next month or two, and you'll have even more decisions to make. But for this shelter in place, for the quarantine ordinance, the fines that were recommended, I don't really care about the fines. You know, it's not something I need in there. Just for people who've been talking about them, though, be aware that most of the time people are assessed fines in court. They're probably gonna be able to do community service for those fines. The court usually allows community service unless you have a job and you're making decent money. The court's gonna give you that chance anyway. So I kind of like the suggestion I heard. I think it was Cora that made the suggestion saying, you know, a warning, then a lower fine, then a higher. That makes some sense to me. If you guys wanted to adopt that, I think still you need some incentive to motivate people not to just basically, you know, give the burden to the cops, you know, when they're trying to do the job. But like I say, I'll enforce whatever you guys come up with. I know these are hard decisions, but the fines should not be what we get hung up on, you know, to me.
Okay, Tina and Laura, and then we got 2 individuals from here to speak, but welcome and allow them to.
I just have a question. The quarantine ordinance, did that come from you?
That was drafted. It was drafted by a combination of Russell Zephyr, myself, and Jennifer Berryhill. He proposed the language first, and then I added some suggested edits, and then I actually added some edits too for that bill. We don't believe that you need to, you know, nobody needs to be quarantined today into that bill. We don't think it's, you know, needed now.
I'm just asking who did it. That's
Sure,
all I want to
sure.
know. Second of all is when we talk about the fines and the courts and issuing, we already have a backlog in our courts. Is there going to be a separate? I mean,
Yes.
because we're already bogged down.
In fact, the court is.
And we don't need to have further impact within our courts.
The
We
court
have important cases that need to be resolved?
Yes. The court has actually implemented a protocol as of today that covers that situation. And what we'll basically be doing is doubling up on the amount of trials we do, starting in a later date, starting in, I think, July was the date the judge targeted. Say, starting that date, we're going to double the trials we normally do to catch up with any backlog that occurs. So I think there is a plan to do that. I can share that order with anybody who wants to see it, later. I can circulate it to those who have an email for, but we've been thinking about that issue. It's an issue. We want to keep the court as functional as we can while trying to deal with this issue.
Cora.
I had a question for the Attorney General.
Sure.
I know that you gave us this court order and in my stacks, I just can't find it. But
I got it.
when someone is arrested for domestic violence, to me, that would be a violent offense.
So I've been at most of the bond hearings we've done over the last week since this went into place, and I don't think that anybody. I think there was maybe one case where the violence that was alleged was not really violent; it was just yelling or something, and that nobody actually got harmed or touched. I think in that one case, maybe we'd let somebody go, but other than that, if there was any actual violence, we've been keeping them the same recommendations. If you're doing something serious or violent, the people are getting the same type of bonds they would always get. Sometimes they're high, sometimes.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt you if you're not.
No, you're fine.
But in our code, for domestic violence, they're supposed to do 72 hours.
That's right.
So does that mean for this, because of that court order, then you don't have to hold them for 72 hours?
No, they're still being held for 72 hours.
No, they're not.
If you're aware of cases that's not happening in, bring them to my attention, but I'm not aware of anywhere that's not being applied.
Because my niece's husband was arrested on domestic violence last week on Friday. And he was released Friday night. And he proceeded to call her and threaten her. So she ended up at my house for the whole weekend.
I have to look at the facts of that particular case. I don't know them. But we have had a couple of cases where the elements of the crime were not in the police report. So sometimes we may not be charging them with domestic violence when they get to court. Sometimes, we have to have those elements of the crime before we do that. So I don't know about that particular case. There may be some other reason that I don't know why that happened. But you can come to me after you're done here. I'll look it up and see what happened. I'm always gonna be accountable for what we do.
Okay, I just want to make sure that they are held for 72 hours.
Again, for violent, serious crimes, we are not changing the way we do things.
Okay, on that recommendation you gave us, because our people are asking that, I think, and we just need to know that your court hearings are still gonna happen. I think you recommended this to us last week, Wednesday, so people are calling about whether or not you're still gonna continue on with all those kind of the major crimes that you're doing.
Right, but well, to be clear, that was the first order issued by the court. There's actually been two other orders issued by the court since that.
Okay.
And I don't issue them, the chief judge issues them, and it's his decision about how to manage the court. But yeah, we're continuing with those type of cases. So, I don't know. I thought I had one more thing. I've forgotten what I wanted to say on the second point, but yeah. Sorry, if you got any other questions, I'll try to answer.
Okay. To comment on this.
Sure.
My name is Lorraine Whiteface or Eagle Out. And I have a problem with this law. And I have a grandson that was going to college. And two of them, one got sentenced for $1,000 cash bond. And the other one is $500 cash bond. And they are going to college, talking about education. But the other one that I'm finding, where in the hell are we going to get $1,500 to fill them out because they are going to college? I want them to go to college and learn, not just sitting there until we get that money. We only live on $700 a month. That's all I live on. And these are my grandkids. I keep them. They went to they went and they got drunk and they got caught at $1,500. This is the poorest county in the United States. Where are we gonna get that kind of money to build them out to go to school? And here they went and they put another order that if we can go get him and take him back to my house so they can catch the bus to go to school. And we keep doing that. We don't have no gas. We don't have money for gas. We barely eat what we can. This is the problem we have on the Indian reservation, right? You never ask us why you're here. You're here to represent the people, not just yourself. You're here to help us. That's what they elect you to be here, not just yourself. We never see anything. We are talking about that trailer house that people that goes there to sleep. It's just too poor. We need a buildings, like you built one for yourself. That's what we need. We can't order that kind of order because we don't have no treatment center here on the reservation. And then when you, as a law and order, when you start arresting people, get down to the business and arrest the ones that are selling it.
Right. Well, we're gonna refer you to our AO for the court, that you will talk about that.
So we need you to talk. I'm an elderly here, and I know what I'm talking about, and I know what I want from you guys, and I'm gonna say it. That's what I want.
Okay,
I want you to look into this law and order you have.
we'll refer that to our AO. You can visit with Terrell. We'll discuss that with you.
I go everywhere I get to. They don't listen to me like you guys don't. They don't have law and order. This is a law and order meeting, right? That's why I'm here.
Ordinance of the people. And that's what we're gonna discussing, and we're gonna bring forward to the council. So the complaint that you have, we're gonna refer to the Terrell to look into that, and you'll get back with the Terrell.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Wallace.
Hello, let me introduce myself. I'm Dave Swallow from Porcupine. And believe me, all children. We had a meeting and I chose that one, but they told me to come and speak here. I'm a headsman for the Dakota nations. You know, and I usually don't want to come into the tribal council meetings because that's not what I want. But anyway, the reason why I was sent here to speak was because of the ordinance of the you have here, that you're trying to pass this curfew violation, which we already have a curfew in the codes, you know? We already have one. Curfew under 18, I believe it's under 18, I can remember. Yeah, we already got that. See? So if you find another one, then that's jeopardizing our freedom. Okay, okay, there. And then I was talking to Trushko, but I don't know if he brought the message because I was trying to work with the commissions here to relate what Porcupine district and the gentleman said, yeah, that's our district, Porcupine too, and that's your district. I mean, it's always a problem. Yeah, but anyway, Porcupine district here, I told you that we don't want that curfew violation at all because we already have one in it. We don't want it at all, period. And it's going to cause some disturbance if you pass this law. And what is afterwards, the citizens are not going to be here forever.
It's gonna be gone. And what, after that, how do you do that? We erase the law then, huh? Rescind the law. See? How do you do that? And then we are not, last night we had a meeting, and we are not California tribe. We are not, we are Lakota, the Oglala